What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Miss Marvel Season 1, Episode 3, Destined. Finally get a few steps forward as far as the main plot for this season, because once again, we spend most of this episode on complete side story. In this one, it's all about the brother's wedding and just preparing for that, and I just couldn't care less. Wait, is that right? Yeah, I couldn't care less. People always get that wrong. I'm pretty sure they normally say I could care less. So in this case, right, I'd say couldn't care less, because literally I care as little as I possibly can about the brother's wedding and everything he's going through and all that stuff. I don't care. I barely care about our main character. So why don't you get me caring about our main character before you try to focus on her family and what they're going through and all of their little side stories and just... So, yeah, again, I'm still stuck in this feeling of they're focusing so much on that side story stuff that it's hard for me to get really invested, because I feel like we're just taking so much time away from our main plot, mainly because it's supposed to be really a movie. Like, this could have been a movie about her dealing with these jinn, that she gets her powers, but that activates them or awakens them or whatever. It draws them to her because they want to get back to their own world, but that could be dangerous, so she's like, never mind, I can't do it. And then they're trying to attack her because of it. I don't care. I don't care. This has been like maybe 15 minutes worth of main plot, and then how long has it been? About 45 minutes every episode. So 2 hours and 15 minutes of main plot, 2 hours of side story. You know, her dealing with the three-way love triangle between her, Bruno, and I've already forgot his name again. It's Carmon? No. Cameron? I don't know. But dealing with that, Nakia dealing with her thing, and the mosque election, she apparently gets elected in this episode, which it is kind of funny because I can't tell if the show wants to talk about what's wrong with the Muslim culture, you know, the mistreatment of women, or if it wants to promote how badly Muslims are mistreated, because you have her taking the stand, you know, trying to get elected because she wants to make changes, because she feels like the women aren't being treated properly. But then in the very next scene, all of a sudden it's, oh yes, the FBI is always watching us and they just always treat us this way. It's like, wait, so are we trying to show the good, or are we trying to show the bad, or are we trying to show both? Like, what is your message here? Your own message is getting confused on whether I'm supposed to feel bad or feel like they are not good people. I don't know. It's frustrating how quickly the tone can shift in this show. As far as the stuff with Bruno and whatever his name is, I've already forgotten. Again, I don't really care. Bruno finally tells Kamala that he's going to California, and it sort of happens and then it's done. Again, don't really care. The whole Jen thing, I mean, I guess it could be interesting, possibly. I don't really know what they're planning on doing with it. I kind of thought it was going to be more so she was going to work with them to try to get them back to her home, and then she'd find out near the end of the season, like, oh crap, this has been a bad thing all along. And then, you know, after blowing off her friends and treating them poorly or whatever, that's when she'd be like, hey, I need your help. I know I've been bad. But I guess they're not going to do that, so they're not going the completely stereotypical route of these type of shows. But it's still just, I don't know, if even finding that out now, that it's more so they just want to go back home, but it might be a bad thing to send them back home. Like, that's not really motivational for me. That's not something that gets me interested in these bad guys. It's more so just like oh, okay, and then they find out that she's not planning to help them right now, but maybe another time. Like, and suddenly oh, we have to attack her now. Huh? Okay. And honestly, that whole final scene where they show up after, by the way, we have a musical number in this because, of course, we have so much plot that we have time for, like, what, a 3-minute musical number? Clearly, we needed all this time, guys. Clearly, this needed to be a 6-episode, 40 to 45 to 50-minute episode season, because we have so much to talk about that we have time to take time out and do a musical number. We got this. We're doing good. But no, this whole final scene where they show up, first of all, the one guy, Cameron, I'm I'm not even gonna try. I don't remember. He shows up to warn them, and then they show up to attack, and she pulls the lever, and that gets everybody out of there. So I don't really understand what their purpose was. He said they were going to kill everybody. I assumed it was like they were going to hold people that were important to Kamala like hostage to make her work for them, but they just sort of let everybody leave and then try to attack her. And I don't really get that. Like, are they just trying to take the bangle from her? So, do they need her alive or do they not need her alive? I thought they needed her alive, and if so, then why are they trying to kill her, it seems like, in a lot of these fight scenes? Like, does any of this make sense? Or did I just miss something? Because I thought they needed her alive, but a lot of these, I mean, they're swinging full force, putting, dents into the ground, trying to hit her. That's probably not just going to be like, oh, I just took that and I'm okay. No, that's probably going to hurt her to the point where she might not be okay. She might not be able to help you. So I don't really understand what their whole purpose was. On top of that, a lot of these scenes were just annoyingly slow. Like this one little girl who can hardly hold her own in these battles is still holding her own against four super powerful, super skilled warriors because they're walking toward her and they're moving like sloths. Like every attack is and then she's on the ground, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna come get you. And then she slides out of the way. I'm like, what is going on? Are they that bad, or are we just supposed to assume, oh, she's that good, guys? She's avoiding all of this so well. It's just stupid. So, yeah, all of that, completely pointless, so drawn out, so stupid in its setup. Again, it would make more sense if they took people hostage and then threatened her and said, hey, we need you to do this for us or we're going to kill your mom or dad. But no, going to avoid all that and just say, we're just going to let them all go and we're going to come after you and try to kill you even though we need you alive. That's smart thinking. Also, the one random scene where they're in the kitchen, Kamala tells all the kitchen workers to get out, none of them move, and then the one guy just comes up and punches the guy in the face. And then they're like, oh, now we'll leave. What? Was this supposed to be funny? Because the only laugh it got out of me was like, that was stupid. And so I had to laugh because of how stupid it was. But I'm pretty sure that wasn't the intention. I think that was supposed to be a legitimate, aha, this is funny, and it was not. There's just so much about the show I don't understand why they make the decisions that they made. And it's annoying and frustrating to watch. And I can't believe this is going to be worse than Iron Fist, more than likely. So, anyways, with all that being said, I don't know what to expect next. Obviously, you're going to have Nakia feeling betrayed because, oh, Kamala was the one that did this, that brought those horrible government people to our mosque. She didn't tell me? How dare she? You've got Bruno dealing with his thing, with going to California, trying to win Kamala's affection, even though he had plenty of chance before whatever his face entered her life, but whatever. You've got the DODC arresting the Gen people, which I'm sure they'll probably break out somehow. I don't know how. But I assume that's going to be what happens, is they're going to break out and try to find Kamala again. And then, of course, Kamala going to see her grandmother. I don't know, maybe we're going to find out more about what the bangle is, how it was made, all of this stuff, because at the moment it still is pretty, vague as far as how all of this happened. But just doing my best to slog through it, and I hope it gets a little bit better by the end of the season. I hope it ends on a good note, because so far it's just not been a fun ride. It's been a lot of frustration on my part. So, but we'll see what happens next. On to the next episode. I'll see you there. And now episode 4, Seeing Red. So, this is probably the best episode, but that's not necessarily a good thing. because still a lot about this. Which honestly, I think the biggest thing about this episode is that it ignores the first three episodes, which actually makes the first three episodes even worse because we spent so much time on all of these side stories with, Bruno, with Nakia, with, all of Kamala's family and what they're going through. We spent so much time there, her being in high school and dealing with all of this stuff. And now here we are in Pakistan, and it's fully focused on just the Red Daggers. Now, granted, I think it's the Red Daggers. Granted, part of this episode, I was sitting here just waiting for them to give me anything of substance because it was mainly just like hey, here's a look at Pakistan. Isn't it great here? Like, the first 15, 20 minutes was just them walking around Pakistan and doing stuff and shopping and all that. And I'm just like, okay, what are you just trying to show off Pakistan? Did they pay you to show off Pakistan? Like, did they say, hey, we see that you're doing this. Could you come film some scenes here and also show off how awesome we are? Because that's honestly what it felt like. It just felt like a promotional for Pakistan and like a tour thing. But anyways, after she meets the Red Daggers, though, the only part that I just the frustration in me because already dealing with a love triangle between Bruno and Cam whatever his name is, already dealing with that, and then they're clearly showing that there's a bit of chemistry between Kamala and I want to say Kareem. It's too close to the other guy's name too, which makes it even worse. I don't like it when shows do this to me. They give me like two character names that are so similar that it's hard to like differentiate them. But yeah, they introduce this new guy, and clearly there seems to be a little bit of interest there between him and Kamala. Like, are we doing a love square? Is that what we're doing? Which I guess technically it's kind of a, I don't know, would that be like a love square, or is it like three different points connecting to one point in the middle? I don't know. But why? Why are we doing this? Why are we adding a third guy? Like, is this really that interesting? You give him that scene on the beach. That was the only part after she met him that I was like, God, why? Why are you doing this to me? But no, everything else, I mean, we finally learned a bit more about the... trying to remember the name that they gave them. It's not coming to me at the moment because there was another name besides the Jinn that they went by, and honestly I can't remember what they're called now. But essentially we learned more about their world, and I'm like, okay, finally getting a little bit of backstory about what's going on. We see that they want to get back to their world and essentially destroy ours or something like that. I didn't really get fully his speech, even the moment when he's like, oh, that inscription, I've never seen that before. And she's like, yeah, what does it say? You seeking yourself or something like that. And I was like, what? Apparently that inscription means something to the person who wrote it. Okay, so I guess you're just leaving that part up to mystery. But yeah, I mean, it was okay up to the end at that point, just getting to see a bit more about this world, actually fleshing out what's happening between these Jinn and these Red Daggers who are essentially trying to protect, I guess, our world. It was kind of interesting, and that whole final chase scene maybe went on a little bit too long, but it was actually fun getting to see some fun fight scenes, not this slow-paced, like, clearly they're taking their time because Kamala's not supposed to be good at fighting yet, so if they really tried to fight like they would normally fight, it would be over quickly. Kamala would be dead and gone. There would be no problem for him. So they have to make it look like, oh, they're just taking their time and they're all cocky about it and make it seem stupid. In this, though, we actually did get to see some fun fight scenes because Waleed, the head guy, obviously a very good fighter, so we got to see some enjoyable stuff there. And then Kareem, I want to say his name is, we got to see him fight, do some fun stuff as well. So, yeah, I mean, the final part of it was a lot more what I wanted to see out of the show. A lot more of figuring out what's going on, learning about these bad guys and learning what they're trying to do and figuring out where the bracelet came, or the bangle came from, figuring out what happened that caused this lady to feel like she was so betrayed by Kamala's great grandmother, which I guess we're probably going to find out in the next episode since she's somehow got sent back in time to the moment. I guess whatever the train signifies. So I assume that's what we'll find out in the next episode. They played it off as like this big, like, holy crap, guys, she's back at that time at a partition. Oh no. I'm just like, I mean, yeah, I kind of figured when she hit the bangle and then we heard the train horn and the world warped around her, it was like, okay, so she's back in time now. And then, like, the last minute or so is just slowly panning around and then showing her slowly getting up and then zooming back as the music crescendos. This is not as big as a surprise as you're making us seem, or making it seem, I guess. I don't know. Am I the only one that thought that was like, okay, yeah, she got sent back in time? Cool, now we get to find out what happened. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know how she's going to get back from here. I don't know if this is just a vision or if she's technically physically back now. But now I do have a little bit more interest. I do have a little bit more engagement in what's happening. And that's mainly because they're finally focusing on the superhero stuff. You know, they're focusing on Kamala and growing her as a little bit as a character. She's still annoying in this episode. She's still got the young, spunky, she's sliding down the hallway. She's like, ooh, I'm so cool. And also, the mask. I mean, really? You just put the mask on, but you keep on all of your other normal clothes. What's the mask for? Because anybody who sees what you're wearing is like, oh, hey, it's Kamala. Like, because they know what you wear, and you have American clothes on, so it's not going to be that hard to piece it together. It was stupid to me, but everything else was perfectly fine. Yeah. I don't know what to expect next. I don't know how the season's going to end, but a little bit of hope that I'll actually enjoy the final 2 episodes somewhat, as long as they don't bring back these other side stories that they were really focusing on so far this season. It's just really going to make me feel like this could have been a movie. You could have cut down all of this side stuff, all of the unnecessary, the fluff dialogue. You could have cut all that down and just left us with, Miss Marvel. That's it. That's all we needed. But anyways, with all that being said, that's it for these 2 episodes. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these 2? Let me know what you can talk about and discuss. All that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Miss Marvel reviews, and I'll see you guys at the next one, the final one of the season. Peace out.